Bahashim Yah, Bahashim Yahushua, Baruch Hashem Yahushua. Shalom, family. Today I want to talk about something that's very important as far as our walk with Yah and just living a daily life. I want to talk about controlling the matrix. Okay, that's the title of the lesson today, controlling the matrix. And the Matrix, I mean, if you saw the movie, and most of us have, it's a couple of them they made, but basically it was about like a false reality, okay, that everybody was living in. It was a structured reality, and people were, distracted by it. They thought this was actually their lives, when they were actually just being used in little pods. Their energy was being zapped or whatever, but they thought they were living a certain life, and all the things that were happening in their lives, and, they were just living normally, and didn't have a clue that all of it was being artificially created and controlled, okay? And when we walk with Yah, we're in a similar situation, just like the character in the Matrix. Neo was awakened and realized that he was living in a false reality, or a reality that can be manipulated, and was being manipulated. If you have an understanding of what the word is saying and how we're living, and we are living in a reality that's being manipulated, okay? And, I'm not talking about all the other stuff that's happening around us, things that the powers that be are creating, because that's happening, that really aren't necessarily real. I'm talking about the fact that the Most High Yah himself can easily manipulate what's going on in our lives, okay? And when you're walking with Yah and you are trusting him, then you really don't live in the same world that everybody else lives in. And I say that because you can, through prayer, through belief, through reading the scriptures, through obedience, manipulate, okay, the reality you're living in, okay? Most High Yah can change whatever he wants to change. He can do anything he wants to do, and that will be manifested in your life if you believe him and trust him totally, and then put it in his hands. So when you pray and put something in his hands, okay, and I'll show you this in the scriptures, okay? There's so many examples of this, all right? I'm just going to touch on a few things, but the message is just that we can control this matrix, this thing we call life here on this earth, okay, and what happens in it. That things we need and want, Most High Yah will manifest, and he's proven it time and time again, and in ways that may not make sense to us, or seem like it shouldn't happen or can't happen, because the so-called rules that we play by here, Yah does not play by the same rules. Then he can do whatever he wants to do to create, to destroy, to modify, okay, our circumstances. Now, I already pointed out in other videos, and I always kind of discuss this at least a little bit, that whatever's happening, first of all, in our lives, Yah is manipulating it. He's the one who created the situation, or led you down a path to a certain situation. He creates the stress. He creates, a way out. It's all in the scripture, what he does, okay? And I think just living in this earthly realm, you tend to forget, because you get to the point where you're just looking at what you can see, and you trust that. But we're not supposed to trust what we can see. We're supposed to trust what Yah says, okay? And like I said, we'll point out a few things. We're starting in Marcos 11, 22 and 23. Don't worry, I'll be using the Old Testament as well, okay? Marcos 11, 22 and 23. It says, and Yahushua answering said to them, have belief in Elohim. So first he's telling his disciples, believe in Yah, okay? That's your first step here. And he's going to say something that on the surface may look like it doesn't make sense, or it isn't even possible. But it ties into what we're saying here. The fact that you can control the matrix. Things can happen that may seem unnatural. May seem like there was no way for this to occur. Things will be manifested, etc. Okay? Marcos 11, 23 says, for truly I say to you, whoever says to this mountain, be removed and cast and thrown into the sea, and does not doubt in his heart, but believes that what he says shall be done, he shall have whatever he says. Okay, there you go. You're going to be able to control. It doesn't matter what it looks like. This environment. Okay, because to Yah is nothing more than a game board. I mean, really, he moves things around how he sees fit. He moves people around. He moves places around. He moves jobs around. He does whatever he wants to do. And he would do that for you. Okay, many of you probably already experienced this. Okay, but it's nothing that you can say, wow, it's a once in a lifetime thing. He will keep doing it. I mean, I'm a witness to that. He will keep doing things that don't seem possible. Okay, so that you will be able to continue. Because it's all about learning and adding to your knowledge, okay, and understanding, and the experiences you go through are part of that. Okay, we're gonna keep going to Joshua 10, 6 through 14. I'm not gonna read all these verses, but I'm gonna kind of focus on what I'm trying to say here. This is about Joshua going against the Amorites. Okay, they had a war, and Most of y'all came in and did some things that were amazing. I mean, he basically changed and controlled the matrix, the environment, in order to give the Israelites victory. Okay, so they were defeating the Amorites. They were smiting them, okay? The Israelites, verse 10, okay? First of all, they were confused, all right? They were fighting. Most High already told them in verse 8, don't fear them. Listen, I'm going to give them into your hand. Not one of them is going to stand before you. That's verse 8. And then they were fighting. And verse 10 says Yahuwah threw them into confusion before Israel. So they didn't know what was going on. They were confused because why? Yah got into their mind and confused them. So Israel continued to smite them and destroy them, chase them. Verse 11. Let's look at this. It came to be as they fled before Israel that and were on the descent in Beth Horon, that Yahuwah threw down large hailstones from the heavens on them. Okay, so big, huge pieces of ice, came down on them just out of the blue and killed them. Okay, they died, and there were more who died from the hailstones than those whom the sons of Israel slain with the sword. So Yahuwah's involved. He's throwing hail down on them. I mean, we can just look at this matrix being manipulated right before their eyes and things just manifesting, right? Let's look at verse 12. And Yehoshua spoke to Yahuwah in the day when Yahuwah gave the Amorites over to the children of Israel. And he said before the eyes of Israel, sun, which means, the sun in the sky, stand still over Gabon, and moon in the valley of Ahalon. So we told the sun to stand still. Verse 13, so the sun stood still and the moon stopped, till the nation avenged itself upon their enemies. It is not written in the book of Ishar. Thus the sun stopped in the midst of the heavens and did not hasten to go down for an entire day. So you see the rules. Rules of nature, the rules of the sun and the moon, how they revolve around the earth. Okay? Because the earth does not revolve around the sun. I mean, the sun and moon revolve around the earth. Anyway, that's another video. But anyway, so the sun just stopped for an entire day. It didn't stop moving. Stop revolving. It did not move from its place. Verse 14, and there has been no day like that before it or after it, that Yahuwah listened to the voice of a man, because Yahuwah fought for Israel. So you see how, and this is one of many examples because there are several of them. Okay, I don't have time to go into all of them. But Yah will change your circumstances and control this world and the elements of this world for you. Okay? So you can't look at a situation and say, man, there's no way out of this. Because back to that movie, I mean, they always had a way out, right? When they were in danger, they had to get to the telephone, right? The phone be ringing and they tell them where to go to find it. Once they got to that telephone, they had a way out to get away out of danger. Yah gives you the same way of escape, and it's in the Bible. The scriptures tell you you have a way of escape. Because this environment, Yah built in ways to escape, but you have to listen to him to get there, right? So whatever your situation is, there's a way to escape it. Whatever's going on in your life, there's a way to overcome it, because You don't play by the same rules everybody else plays by. You do not live in the same world everybody else lives in if you trust in Yah. Okay? All right, let's keep going here. 2 Kings 1, 6 through 10. Okay? This is talking about Eliyahu, or Elijah, how he, through the power of Yah, manipulated the environment. Okay? Because, he had something to say to a king who was trying to inquire of an idol, okay, Beelzebub, the mighty one of Ekron, instead of Abayah, instead of Yahuwah. All right, because he had fell down through a roof or a lattice and he was injured. He wanted to know if he was going to die. And so he sent a servant to Beelzebub, the mighty one of Ekron. But Yah didn't like that. He sent Eliyahu to intercept the servant and told them, hey, is there not a mighty one in Israel? What are you going to Beelzebub for? For doing that, you going to die. And I could have manipulated this for you and fixed it. Would may have looked like you was going to die, but, I would have risen you up. This is what Yah wanted to do, but he was angry, right? That's what he would have done had the king come to him, had the king desired to hear from Yah, because Yah says this. Okay. In verse 6, they said to him, this is when they came back, and the king was like, what are you back so early for? Surely you didn't get to Ekron that quick. They said, a man came to meet us and said to us, go, turn to the sovereign who sent you and say to him, thus said Yahuwah, is it because there is no Elohim in Israel that you are sending to inquire of Beelzebub, the mighty one of Ekron? Therefore, because you did this, you are not going to get out of the bed which you have gone up, for you shall certainly die. Okay. So, of course, the king was angry. He sent him some soldiers out to get this Eliyahu, because he asked him, who was this dude that spoke to you? And once they described him, he said, this is Elijah. Okay. So, verse 9. He sent to him a captain of 50 with his 50 men. And he went up to him, and see, he was sitting on top of a hill. And he spoke to him, man of Elohim, the sovereign, and said, come down. Basically, you come down and you coming with us. We got to deal with you for trying to get on the king, trying to tell him where he can and cannot go, or that he's going to die, and all that stuff. So, Elihu said in verse 10 to the captain of 50, well, if I'm a man of Elohim, let fire come down from the heavens and consume you and your 50 men. And fire came down from the heavens and consumed him and his 50. So again, see, you have this matrix being controlled. Fire coming down, consuming the captain of 50 and his 50. Now, Eliyahu did this twice because he sent another group. And when he sent the third group, that captain was like, please spare my life, have mercy on me. I said, I know what you did to the others. Please let my life be precious. Please don't do this to me. And Yah told Eliyahu, you can go with that one. But again, I'm just showing you how the matrix was controlled, right? Because Yah controls the matrix, and you, through the power of Yah, like it says, like Yahushua said, believe in Elohim. Through the power of Yah, he can manipulate and change your circumstances and this so-called life you're living in, because you're really not living in the same world as everybody else. He will manipulate things for you. Other people, they stuck. They got to go through the rules of this earth. And, they trust in the man. They trust in this. Got to work for that to work. And all these things got to come in line. And that's the way they think. So they miss a lot of blessings. Things don't happen for them. Their worst fears come to reality. All that stuff. But when you trust Yah, then he will create a situation, like you say, a way out of no way. And then he does that. Because there was always a way there. He just had to he manifested, right? He had it there. You just couldn't see it till he showed it to you. And we're going to get into that. We're going to go to Joshua 6 or Joshua 6, okay? I'm going to talk about the wall of Jericho. This is a great segue into that, because here's the situation. Can't get through this city. Can't get, the walls are too high, too tall, too thick. Can't get through there. When Joshua, Mosiah told him, listen, I'm giving you this city, so see and believe that I've given it to you. Then, of course, he gave him instruction on what to do, how to walk around 7 days, say nothing, be silent, all those things. walk around 7 times the last day, then shout and blow the trumpet. So he gave them instructions. Okay, you can read that, Joshua 6. But the point is, okay, once they did that, they obeyed that and believed that if we do this, some kind of way, this city gonna be ours. Everything in it will be ours. We will have victory. So verse 20, we get to the meat of this. And the people shouted when the priest blew the horns, as they were instructed to do on that 7th day. You know, they walked around and stuff. And it came to be when people heard the sound of the horn, and the people shouted with a great shout, that the wall fell down flat. Okay? The wall fell down flat. Now, this isn't normal. Whether it was an earthquake, well, whatever. The wall fell. Doesn't matter. Y'all manipulated the circumstances. And the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and they captured the city. Because again, Joshua, the Israelites, did not live in the same world as those people in Jericho. Okay? The people in Jericho trusted in that wall. And if you're living in that world, it makes perfect sense, right? Nobody can get through this wall, over this wall. So we're good. Now, you know, if they'd have stayed out there and starved them out like normally what they do when they got any food in or out, and eventually they would have been in trouble. But, you know, as far as the way, they probably have plenty of stuff in there. We're good. Got plenty of animals and stuff. We'll be all right for a long time. So we don't have to worry about them. You know, I'm sure they were consoling everybody with these words, comforting them, making sure they let them know, hey, don't panic, don't worry about them out there. Because they were living by, you know, in the matrix. Hey, this is the way it's set up, so this is how it has to go. And not realizing, well, who set this up? Well, Yah himself set this up so he can do what he wants to do with whatever he put in place. And that's the way we have to think, okay? All right. So let's go to Yohanan or John 21, 1 through 6 and 11. This is back in the New Testament again. And again, there's so many examples throughout this whole book. Yahushua had come back and was talking to the apostles who were trying to fish, couldn't really catch anything. Verse 5 said, Yahushua said to them, children, have you any food? They answered him, no. Now, they were throwing the nets out all day, weren't catching anything, because, you know, the fish weren't really biting. They weren't getting into the nets. They weren't in the area. They weren't with enough of them in that, concentrated in that area for them to really catch anything. And Yahushua said to them, throw the net on the right side of the boat, and you shall find. So they threw the net, and they were no longer able to draw it in because of the large number of fish. All of a sudden, 153 big fishes was in that net. This is what it says in verse 11. Shimon Kepha went up and dragged the net to land, filled with 153 big fishes. And though there were so many, the net was not broken. So the net was made stronger than it should have been. It was way more fish than should have been in that area and caught up in that net when they were catching nothing before. And you can be getting nothing before, looking for a job, getting nothing, you know what I'm saying? Needing to be sick in your body and nobody can help you. All kinds of situations. You need to pay bills and nothing doesn't look like you're going to be able to do it. Whatever, man. You know, stuff we go through. So, if you trust Yah and you say, you know what? I understand that you can control this environment, Abba Yah. I don't live in the same world as everybody else if I trust you. And you pray to the Most High Yah and understand that He's going to control it some kind of way that may not seem possible. He's going to come through. Okay? And that matrix will be modified for you. You will see things and understand things that other people don't, because they live in a fantasy world. The fantasy world is that everything we see and everything's going on is just the way it is. Can't change it. Gotta go with the flow. You know, if it look like you're in trouble, you're in trouble. Doesn't matter if it's fair or not. Whatever. You better ask that man to help you. Better ask so-and-so to help you. But never say ask Yah to help you. You know, call so-and-so. pay so and so to do this, and you ain't got money to pay anybody. So we don't trust in man like that. We have to trust the Most High Yah, because He will show us something, and He wants to show you. If you're listening to this, obviously, He wants to show you that He controls this environment. So allow Him to, by putting it in His hands and understanding. Oh, I put it in Yah's hands. Now things will be manipulated. Now something will manifest itself. I don't have to worry about how, why. I just know it's going to happen, and it will. You will be amazed, but you will be grateful and thankful to the Most High Yah for doing what He promised He would do all along, and showing you that He controls everything. Okay. So hopefully this give you some encouragement. Give you, if you don't, didn't previously think like this, you can say, you know what, I don't have to live by these rules, because there's a whole other set of rules in the heavens. Okay. And if I let Yah control it, then things will happen that normally wouldn't. Okay, and I'll get a way out. I'll have a breakthrough. I'll have something happen to fix this, alleviate this, make it right, whatever you need. Just trust Yah for it, and know that He can manipulate your environment. Okay. So as always, stay in the Word, read, show yourself approved, study, pray, and we all come into the perfection of knowing exactly what this book is teaching us, and how to fully, as a people, make it back to Yah. Hallelujah. And may Yah add a blessing to His word.